live from the new sports betting capital of the world.
You might be from Texas, but I'm from New Jersey.
Benny Ricciardi is here to break down the day's betting board for you.
Let's go, Jerry. Go!
Taking a first look at the day's bets, it's time for the FTN Betting Show. Welcome to the FTN Bets Cast here on Thursday, April 7th, otherwise known as opening day for the MLB season. And with MLB opening day, I brought in one of the smartest MLB guys I know. You know him as, I think it's at Real Frank Brank. Am I wrong over there on Twitter, Frank?
That's right.
There you go. At Real Frank Brank, one of our MLB analysts and analytics guys over here at FTN Bets. What is going on this morning, buddy?
That's there so you don't get confused with any fake ones, you know. But it's a good morning. It's a really good morning. The Masters is about to tee off as we're recording this. Baseball's about to start. I think that's 2:20 is the Cubs Brewers game. It's going to be good, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, we did a little bit of a Masters preview yesterday because by the time you guys hear this podcast this morning, the Masters will have already teed off and will be on my televisions in the background, as I do most of my work today. Hopefully my boss isn't listening, so he doesn't realize all that. But yeah, it's going to be a good day here today. We got opening day for baseball. The weather was not very kind. We already had a couple cancellations, but we do still have a couple games that are going to be going on here today. And it's nice to have baseball back and to be in that full swing here. So with that said, Frank, why don't we walk through first what you're going to be doing over at FTN Bets this year, how you're going to be putting in your bets, what kind of markets you're going to be playing in. Give everybody out there a little bit of an idea of what to expect for the next, 6+ months, I guess.
Yeah, there'll be sides and totals every single morning, somewhere, between 7:30 and 8 usually is when I get down for pretty much any sport. I think that gives us opportunity to, not necessarily destroy an overnight market, but also allow folks to wake up and get their bets in, before they get their kids to school or after they take the kids to school or, before they go to work or whatever it might be. Mostly sides for me. So, totals I think are a little bit harder with things like today with the Brewers Cubs games. There's 20-mile-an-hour winds blowing out. That total sitting around 10.5. I don't know how much value you can really get, or it's a little bit harder to predict those outcomes a little bit. So probably 75% sides for me. And then we'll have some K props in there. Once books sort of post those, they're usually come out somewhere 10, 11, 12 o'clock, depending on the slate.
So let me ask you a couple questions here, because, I obviously have worked with you before and I know the way that you operate and how you get your bets in and what you look for and things like that. But for the people out there who haven't before, let's start by talking a little bit about the sides here. When we're looking at the sides here, you're obviously looking to try to find value between the number that your model has and the number that's being put out there in the market. When you're doing that, obviously you put the bets into the bet tracker, you put them over into the Discord over at FTN Bets. If you're not in that Discord over at FTN Bets, that is the best place for you to get all the plays every day. You can get over to ftnbets.com right now. Use promo code Frank. You can even save 20% off on any one of our packages. Once you do sign up for the package, the first thing you should do up in the top right-hand corner of our website, there's something right there that says chat. You click on that chat, that gives you access to our Discord. And the reason for that is there's an MLB, there's also one for NBA and for all the other sports that we cover as well. But there's an MLB Bets Discord that we have in there. And that Discord is just for the posting of the bets for all the guys that we have putting them in there. One of the things that I want to talk to you about here a little bit, Frank, is give people a little idea of the numbers that you look at here, the kind of percentages that you're looking at, because you may post something at 7:30 in the morning. I like, the Yankees at -150 or something along those lines. Somebody may not see it until the middle of the day, and the line may have moved from, -150 to -180 or -190. How do you go about making sure that people are getting a good number and giving them an idea of what that good number should be so that they're not chasing the steam or going on the wrong side of things?
Yeah, well, first off, like the consistency of the time, right, is going to help that. Most people that have followed me now for 3 or 4 years in the move over to FTN know that I'm going to be posting somewhere around 7:30 or 8 o'clock for all my sports, right? So they know what's going on. And then the other side of that is I'll post a number along with the price that I'm playing. So, I might play a game at plus 100, I'm making these numbers up, but just say I play the Astros at plus 100. I'll post something in parentheses. So I'll say like -110 next to it, which means you can play -110 if that's the number you're given. Now, it's not always like, now, 75% of the time, these numbers are going to move in my favor. So you will get sort of a delayed movement if you don't get the bets in right away, which is why you should be in the Discord. But also, Benny, like numbers just are different at different books, right? Like, you should always shop around. Those that have access to legal books should be shopping around and finding the best number. I know in Pennsylvania now you can play at about 69 books. So you should just go and find the best number, and that's the one you should play. We have those odds screens available on FTN as well. I believe you can see our odds board and see which numbers we have it highlighted, which number is the best one. You can click right through to the site from there. So I think that's your best option to find, for those of you that are in legal books, states that have legal books, find the best number, because the VIG is a little bit higher than traditional offshore numbers at most of these books. But if you shop around, you can get the VIG down quite a bit. So, but numbers do differ from book to book, but I will always put a play to number into the Discord and onto the site for those that don't want to be in the Discord. But I would recommend getting in the Discord, because all of us post there first and then move the bets over to the site.
69 books in Pennsylvania right now. Nice.
Something like that.
Yeah. So there you go. There's that's kind of the model of how we're going to go about it for, like I said, about the next 6 months here with baseball season. So definitely make sure you're getting over into that Discord, get in there early, get everything checked out. Another thing I wanted to talk about with you here, Frank, you also do K props. And for those of you who don't know, it's basically strikeout props. Every day the books will come out with whatever the matchup is for whatever pitcher, and they'll give you an over-under of 6.5, 5.5, 7.5 strikeouts there. And we played those with a lot of success in the past here. Are you going to be doing your K props and kind of give everybody an idea of when that's going to come out and, what information it is and what you're looking for with those?
Yeah, the K props are sort of up in the air, book to book to book. I noticed, for example, DraftKings had all of theirs out this morning. It is opening day. FanDuel had like a couple, MGM didn't have any. So it really just depends on the book. I know certain books will post at certain times and try to beat the market out there early. Some won't post until we get lineup confirmation, right? Like, so we don't always have them, but whenever they do post, which is traditionally somewhere around like 10, 11, 12 o'clock in the morning, we'll be playing those. And those are a lot of fun, right? Because you sort of like the results of the game don't really matter. You just know like, oh, Wainwright's going to be out there for 6 innings today. And let's just, you're kind of grinding over every 2-strike pitch. So they are a lot of fun, but same thing. I'm just creating a number and expectation through my models and, just betting against the numbers that are out there. Those have gotten better, a lot better in terms of like VIG and whatnot. So, a lot of these books are sort of exploiting a market. Most people, I think, probably prefer K props to watching, the bullpen melts every night. So, they are a little bit more fun to bet.
Well, that's, that's also a reason why at one point we were betting all first fives, because I was getting tired of having bullpens blow some of these right. Big leads that some of the starters that we were looking at had for us as well. So there you go. We talked a little bit about K props. We talked a little bit about the sides. You guys got a little bit of information on, how Frank's going to go about putting his bets in there. If you guys are interested in joining, remember FTNBets.com, use promo code Frank. You could save 20% off. Frank, before I let you go here, we got a whole bunch of degenerates that listen to this podcast. And what we always want to do for them before I let any of my guests go is give them something actionable, something that they can go put in right now if they're interested. So do you got anything that you're looking at here this morning, a side, a K prop, a total, whatever you got going on here? Give the people out there something they can go make a little bit of money on.
Yeah, it's opening day. I'll give you 2. I played the Mets at -130. Tyler McGill against Patrick Corbin. Patrick Corbin is career, in my opinion, should have been over last year. So and McGill actually not a bad pitcher. They are on the road, but opening day should matter a little bit less. I made that number about 150, so you could play that up to like 140 for those listening later in case that thing moves. And then the K prop I played, for those that don't want to watch the Mets bullpen give back the 5-2 lead they end up with in the 8th inning. Adam Wainwright going against the Pirates. Pirates lineup is just an absolute joke. there is concern, early in the year with a lot of pitchers in betting K props because you don't really know the workload of these guys. Someone like Shane Bieber or Otani, guys that have injuries in the past. But Wainwright is not that, right? He's a workhorse. He's not going to have any problems. He threw 5 innings in each of his last 2 spring training starts. I'm not worried about workload there. I found over 4.5 plus 115 for his strikeout number, and I like that number there. Like I said, he should get sort of into the 6th, in my opinion, maybe even further, if you just assume that this Pirates AAA lineup isn't going to hit.
Well, hey, and I know that Frank is a Pirates fan, so anytime he tells you to bet against the Pirates, he probably has the inside information from all the games he's been watching, numbers he's been crunching, and I can tell that it makes him upset every time he does it, realizing that the Pirates still don't have the kind of team he hopes they do. But hey, there you go. So Frank, let everybody know where they can follow you on Twitter and where they can find all your stuff.
Yeah, at Real Frank Brank, of course, get into the FTN Discord. That's probably the best chance to reach me. Send me a DM, whatever you'd like, on Twitter if you want some more info. Code Frank gets you 20% off. Sign up for the whole year. Not just baseball, right? College, we'll blink our eyes and college football will be back, right? College basketball will be back. So, sign up for the whole year and you can sort of take advantage of this stuff all year round.
Yeah, I mean, the Diamond package gets you access to everything, which includes the NBA playoffs, which will be coming up in a couple days here, and the last couple days of the regular season as well. NHL, MLB, MMA, tennis action, everything that's coming on in the betting world. We have somebody that's looking into it. We have charts, we have graphs, we have everybody making the picks. So definitely get over there and check that stuff out. Frank, thanks for stopping by Thursday morning on the FTN Bets Cast. We are going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back in a minute. Welcome back to the FTN Bets Cast here for Thursday, April 7th. We're going to talk a little NBA action today. Not a ton of games in the NBA, but I think we do have 7. So let's get into them. First one, we're going to talk about Orlando Magic against the Charlotte Hornets. The Magic will be without a couple guys today. Franz Wagner is out. Wendell Carter's out. Cole Anthony's out. For the Charlotte Hornets, we have Gordon Hayward listed as questionable here. Charlotte is a 13-point favorite. 13.5 is what I'm seeing out there in the market. Best price on Charlotte, -13, -110. DraftKings, FanDuel, and Caesars, where you can get that. If you're looking to get down on the Orlando Magic side, there is a +13.5 at -110. That is over at BetMGM. That's the best time. That's the best place to get down money on the Orlando Magic. Although Charlotte still has something to play for. They are locked into the playoffs, so they're at least going to be in the play-in game. They could end up as high as 7. I think they are, let's see, they are 1.5 games behind Brooklyn and Atlanta, which means they're 2.5 behind Cleveland. They have 3 games to play. I think Cleveland only has 2, so they would need to win out and Cleveland to lose out to get the best possible chance, and they would still need some losses from Brooklyn and Atlanta along the way. So Charlotte is in the playoffs, but most likely going to end up probably somewhere around 9, most likely 10. But again, if you're looking to play them today, -13, DraftKings, FanDuel, Caesars, best place you can get that number. Next up, Philadelphia 76ers against the Toronto Raptors. This should be a good game. These are 2 teams that do still have stuff to play for. The 76ers are kind of bouncing around in a 3-way tie for the 2, 3, and 4 seed, along with Milwaukee. Who are they up there with? Milwaukee and Boston, who actually play each other today, meaning that this could be a good game for Philadelphia to move up a little bit because one of those 2 teams has to lose. The Toronto Raptors also solidly in the playoffs, solidly out of the play-in game area as well. They're probably going to end up as either a 5 or a 6 seed, depending on how these last couple games work out for them. The 76ers are on the road. They are favored by 1 point here, anywhere between 1.5. You can get a +1.5 on either side of this game, which doesn't make a lot of sense here. I think the number is actually wrong on BetMGM, but if that number is still listed out there, BetMGM has Philly +1.5, -120. Everybody else has Philly at -1 or -1.5. If you're looking to bet Philly, that BetMGM number is wrong. So go hop on that +1.5, -120. If you're looking to bet the Toronto Raptors, +1.5, -110 on FanDuel, the best price there. Everybody else pretty much has this at +1 and -110. So FanDuel, best place to play the Raptors. BetMGM, best place to play the 76ers. And that brings us to that next game that we just talked about a little bit here, the Boston Celtics and Milwaukee Bucks, 2 teams that are vying for the 2, 3, and 4 seed behind the Miami Heat, who is leading the East at the moment. The number on this game, let's see. If you want to bet on the Milwaukee side, you can get -6 on Milwaukee. There's a lot of 6.5s in the market too, but -6 on Milwaukee at FanDuel, PointsBet, and Unibet. If you want to bet on the Boston Celtics side of this game, +6.5 at DraftKings, at BetMGM, and at Caesars is where you can play that one. Next game up, the San Antonio Spurs and the Minnesota Timberwolves, two teams that are fighting in that play-in spot down there at the bottom for their seeding, Minnesota being at the top, San Antonio being at the bottom at the moment, but both of them still alive to play in the play-in games to get into the playoffs here. The number on this game is 8.5 at literally every book, so it doesn't matter where you pay it. 8.5 -110 and +8.5 on the Spurs -110. So if you're looking to play Minnesota, like I said, you can get that number anywhere. If you're looking to play the Spurs, you can get the +8.5 anywhere at -110. Next one up, a very, very lopsided game, the Portland Trailblazers and the New Orleans Pelicans. Portland has so many guys injured, I'm not even going to mention it, but basically if you were a starter for Portland this year, good chance you're out on injured reserve right now. As for the Pelicans, they are still fighting for their seeding as well. They are in the playoffs. They are a 16-point favorite at home here against the Trailblazers. I mean, listen, it's a big number. I expected it to be a big number. I had it at 14.5, so it's a little bit more than I had it at, but it's not enough for me to want to go bet on the Portland side of this game. If you want to bet on the Pelicans, DraftKings, BetMGM, and Caesars all have them -16.5, -110. If you want to get money down on the Blazers, get over to FanDuel. +17, it's up to on FanDuel there. So you can get +17 on FanDuel on the Blazers at -110. Next game up, the Memphis Grizzlies and the Denver Nuggets. Denver still fighting with Utah for, that 5th and 6th seed there down at the bottom. I think they do still have a chance to move up against Dallas, I think, who's in 4th, but I'd have to double check on that. The Memphis Grizzlies have locked up the number 2 seed in the West. It doesn't matter if they win or lose. They can't move up. They can't move down. At this point, they're the number 2 seed. John Morant likely still out for this game. Denver is a 4.5-point home favorite here. You can get that number at DraftKings, FanDuel. Where else do we have it? BetMGM and Caesars. If you're looking to bet on the Memphis Grizzlies, +4.5, -105 on PointsBet is the only place you can get that at under that -110. So save yourself a couple basis points, get a little bit of a better payout there if you're on the Grizzlies. If you're on the Denver side, at basically every other major book, you can get this at -110. And that brings us up to the last game of the day, which is the Los Angeles Lakers taking on the Golden State Warriors. The Warriors, very likely, it looks like Russell Westbrook is questionable here. LeBron's questionable. Anthony Davis is questionable. So it doesn't really matter. The Lakers have been eliminated at this point anyway. Whether or not those guys play really only matters for the spread. And the number's pretty big here. It's 12.5. So you could get, if you're looking to bet the Warriors, you could get Warriors -12 over on PointsBet. That's the best price on the Warriors. Warriors -12. It's actually juiced up a little bit, -115, but I'd rather play -12, -115 than -12.5 at -110. So -12, -115 at PointsBet. Golden State Warriors, best price there. Best price on the Lakers side. The Lakers are +12.5, -110 at most major books, with the exception of PointsBet. So DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM, Caesars, Unibet, BetRivers, Sugar House, wherever you want to go to bet that +12.5, -110 on the Lakers, you can. I got to be honest, my money is not going down on the Lakers. If I was going to bet on this game, it would be on Golden State, but that's a lot of points, so I'm not really going to mess with that here. So there you go. That wraps it up for today's NBA slate. We talked a little bit of MLB action at the beginning, a little bit of NBA action here. We got a little more MLB action and a little more MMA action coming to you tomorrow. So make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. This way, every day when the podcast comes out, you guys will be able to get your degeneracy in there by getting some bets down for the day. This is Benny Ricciardi signing off for the FTN Bets Cast here at FTN Bets. Good luck, everybody.
Live from the new sports betting capital of the world.
You might be from Texas, but I'm from New Jersey.